Hi, and welcome to the second time the Uptown Tonight Podcast. We just went through a whole little lag there, and thank God that we have Cito here. He's one making sure that we are staying on time and on task and all that other happy, fun stuff. So we were basically just going through like what was happening today. It is August 18th of 2021, and it is hot out there. I was saying mid-90s. Aaron just said that he saw 100 degrees.
Yeah.
So triple digits in Fargo. Wow. That doesn't happen very often, so hopefully that's the last we see of it this year too, because I work on a golf course. That gets a little steamy. So this last weekend, we had some good times. We had our second triple header in a row. We started off at the windbreak on Friday, and we'll show you a couple of photos on that. And that was fun at the windbreak, hanging out with Butter. Mr. Butter, we need to have you on this podcast.
Yeah.
Aaron even agrees with me.
100% agree.
Yes, we need to have you on this podcast.
Won't do it. I tried.
This isn't social media, technically. Come on, Butter. So we'll keep bugging him on that. And anyone out there who ever sees Butter, give him a little push. Say, maybe you should go on the Uptown Tonight podcast. That might be kind of fun. And we all know it's going to be a lot of fun. But there we go. So that was at the windbreak. And then the next day we had a double header, an acoustic gig going into an irregular gig. And this is, I have to go through my whole spiel again, and I'm going to lose Cito's real emotion that he had there, and it was great because I was waiting for this all day.
Can we just play the Falcon one then?
Can we play the Falcon one then?
This was on our way to our doubleheader.
Okay.
We were so excited.
All right, in the Falcon double header today.
Chewy, put it at light speed.
Punch it. This is pretty sweet.
Was that it?
Oh, what happened to the Lakeside one?
Oh,
Let's try that again.
was it this one?
It was under the Falcon, yeah.
Oh.
All right, in the Falcon double header today.
Chewy, put it at light speed.
Punch it. Here we are, acoustic show number 2 for the year. First show of the day. This is pretty sweet. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was 50th wedding anniversary. And the cool thing there was that they had their wedding party, at least what was, obviously a few of them passed away during that time for 50 years, but what they had there, and they were all sitting at the same table and everything else. And I've never even thought about that. It's like if I made it 50 years with somebody and then the wedding party coming in, hanging out, like... I can't even remember who was in my wedding party. I'm sure my brothers were. So,
You could tell that they were very close friends all their lives.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
It was a really cool deal. But this is the learning experience I took away from last weekend was that Cito, our man, he was our stage manager, our equipment manager, the money manager, and the booking guy and all that stuff. But pulling off 2 shows in that single day, we were scared walking into it. I know a lot of us were because we weren't entirely sure how we were going to pull this thing off. But it went smooth, very smooth. Cito made sure that we had all the equipment we needed at each venue that is before we need to set up. And everything got set up. Everything went real smooth. So Cito, applause to you.
We had 3 minutes. Thank you.
Yeah.
We had 3 minutes to spare on the contract time to set up for the first show, and we're like,
And we made it.
yeah, we made it.
And
Holy
we
cow.
made it.
And then we had an
hour.
We had a half hour to go to the other show and then set up the rest of like little amps and stuff for the other show at the Roadhouse.
Crazy.
And it was tight. So,
But that's what good planning does. So when you ever take these road trips, even if it's just a single show, if you have good planning, things just go so smooth, and it was so stress-free after, all the stress. But,
it was nice. And I'd like to shout out to Bitzers too for getting us those gigs and helping us out.
yes.
They helped us out too with the idea of what to do. Papa Bitzer said, he's like, just make sure you got 2 PAs, or whatever, and make sure it's smooth and make sure everything's set up the way you need it. So, and then that's all I did. So,
And that worked out great. So that was the learning experience for the weekend was make sure your plan is there and execute. Don't let people slide on the plan. Just make sure that they execute. So, no, that went really well. So we got a couple photos on there as well under the weekend fun right up there, right above the Falcon. If there's the windbreak, I love how Butter gets all those lights going. They're nice little towers. They're so pretty.
that looks cool. It looks like our lights are like little like letters, like Star Wars letters or something. I don't know why I'm saying that.
Punch it, Chewy.
Punch it, Chewy.
Yep. Then we'll have these sideways ones because I'm still not inept enough to figure out how to flip these things around without making everything a mess.
I think they would just put an arrow on top, like this is the top of the picture.
But that's what that looks like for me when there's no one on the dance floor at the windbreak. But that's not how it went that night. That was just way before. And there's the wedding anniversary by the lake there. That's where we got the play on.
It was nice. And good food,
That's very cool.
And that was on top of the thing. Oh, yeah, the food is great. Oh, they fed us and everything else, man. That's one of those gigs that was really fun.
It's so crazy because, like, those outdoor shows can be, like, really brutal in and of themselves.
Yes, they
because
can.
You have to, like, you're playing out in the sun and it just, like, saps all of your strength and energy, you know. And then to go and play a second show after this, holy cow, kudos to you guys.
And we didn't hold back either.
No.
At the house. We had a full house and we had to go. So the adrenaline kicks in and a couple shots help too. So.
Yeah, it was good.
Brutal.
And then, this was us.
There's
at
the Roadhouse sideways. With Peter.
Yeah.
Standing on the stage.
Did we get any of the crowd at the end with them, or do we forget? We forget to take pictures at the end, don't we?
Oh, you got to play, right?
Yeah.
Like, I was looking through old pictures today, actually, of some old gigs. And I was like, why don't I have any video of this? Oh, that's right, because I start that song, right?
That's usually how it goes. But we have Aaron Dorval as our guest today. And his second time he's been on here. We just looked it up. What was the last one you were on? The 8th one?
Number 8.
Number 8. Now we're at number 24.
Yeah.
So 6 months deep into this thing, and it's still going strong. I mean, we're scheduled all the way out into January now. So those of you out there that if you want to be a part of this, you can find us on Uptowntonightpodcast at Gmail, or you can go to our website. That is uptownbandfargo.com, and that'll have all the connections that you need to get there, as well as booking and, for the band and also for the podcast. You'll have all those things set up on there as well. So, and you can also find us on social media on Instagram under Uptown Podcast or Uptown Tonight Podcast. On Twitter and Instagram, and also the band Uptown Band Fargo on Instagram and Twitter as well.
Make sure you subscribe.
Oh, that's right. Yes, make sure. You can really, really help us out by hitting the subscribe button, like button, and all that other fun stuff. You know what to do. Comment. That's what we like to see out there.
Tell a friend.
And tell a friend. Of course. Tell a friend. So, it's been a few months.
It has been
How's
a couple
it
of months.
been, Aaron?
Pretty good. A lot of work, a lot of music, a lot of fun.
A lot of
getting back into things, yeah.
Getting back into things. So I know you have your new band coming out here in a couple of weeks. Now, Shakes Hands with Danger, correct?
Shake Hands with Danger, yep.
Okay, not Shakes. It's Shakes.
Not Shakes.
Okay.
It's not the Shakes. But yeah, Shake Hands with Danger, yep. It's an old 80s safety video reference. It's like the dumbest thing, and we just love it to death.
And I just think of Shakes Hands with Beef, so that's how I remember it. Some Primus there for you.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
So how's that all going? Who's in there? What are we doing?
Yeah, so great question. So Josue Garcia was the original singer of Save Me CJ, my old band, old 90s band there. And we've got 3 guys who this is their first band. So it's really interesting kind of seeing these types of things through like the eyes of someone who's new to all of it, right? Like it's so funny because we could be like, oh, we're playing this, or we want to book into this like dive bar or something. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. I want like the full band experience. And Josue and I are like, I don't know that we want to do that, right? But it's a lot of fun to kind of like see this through their re-experience kind of first time shows for people. And just practice is even a ton of fun because it's like, it's cool. We can do this 5 times. That's fine. Like, that's okay. We can learn the song, So it's kind of like teaching and learning and kind of flexing those muscles rather than the like sit down study kind of muscles that we're used to.
Interesting. So I know we kind of have a rookie in our band as well, Brady, and I know that's kind of fun watching him seeing things the first time, at least on stage and all that.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally.
I was like, I can't believe that actually happened. I was like, that's what happens when you're rocking.
It's
out.
awesome.
So,
yeah, it's fantastic. We played. We played the Red River Valley Fair was our first show.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, right?
So you're spoiling a couple of guys.
Exactly. Yeah, we totally spoiled them right away.
Nice.
So the Red River Valley Fair, we played. So Styx was that night on main stage, and then we played in the beer gardens. both pre and post. And it was just so awesome because like by the end of the post show, by the end of it, like, you know, I could tell like Logan, our other guitar player, was, you know, walking around on stage and like interacting with the crowd, you know, and like really, you know, getting that awesome crowd experience. And we got all done, and he just goes, I want to play all the shows.
Let's do that again.
So, you know, they definitely got the bug, and it's so much fun for me to see that happening and just be a part of it, you know. So it's a different experience than before.
Oh, that's excellent. That is excellent. So how many shows you have lined up coming up here?
So right now, just a couple. We've got Dempsey's on the first Friday in September. I think it's September 3rd, I want to say.
Yep,
whatever that Friday is. And then a month later, we're playing VFW downtown.
Nice.
So we're going to try to stick it to like 1 or 2 weekends a month. We're not looking to go full time or anything like that. We're just purposely keeping it low key, you know.
Now, are you playing with anyone else besides?
So I'm
Shake Hands with Danger.
doing some writing, tons of writing on my own.
Aaron never writes.
Yeah.
Constantly. What?
Constantly. I think every day I write a new song. But so I've been doing a lot of writing, but also working with a friend of mine, Luke Janikowski is his name. He owns a barbershop in town. So if you need a fade up, go check out Luke. He's in the tailor-made barbershop area there. Acoustic Clips is the name of his barbershop. So shout out to Luke, my writing partner and good friend.
Which brings me to what is going on with all the barbershops in town. I've been trying to get this mop chopped for about a month and a half, and I always get shot down or you got to wait 2 hours. I went in today, and again, it was the same thing. So I finally just scheduled one for tomorrow, which I don't even know if I can make it to, but I'm just going to schedule it.
Yeah, everybody's moving to apps like scheduling now, right? And I get it. Like, you know, the old days.
I've never had that problem before. You just walk in, it's just like, give me a haircut.
Yeah,
okay, because bring it back. But now it's like, we're booked.
Yeah. Go to Luke, man. Luke will hook you up.
I might have to do that.
I got you.
I might have to.
Don't worry, Wade. I'll cut your hair. I'll do it right. You'll get a nice prison cut.
Perfect. It's perfect.
That looks great. No, it does not.
Prison cut.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of writing, and that's a cool project because we're doing a lot of different things. Like we both wanted to get out of our comfort zones and say like, well, what are we trying to kind of create? So we're doing a lot of I don't want to say experimental because like in your head you go like experimental music must be like synthesizers and like weird sounds and things like that. And it's really just like things that we're exactly. Yep. So things that we're just not used to writing, right? Yep. So exploring different genres that maybe we don't have a lot of experience in. Doing different covers. We did an acoustic cover of a Foo Fighters song that I think turned out amazing. We did Everlong. That sounds
Everlong
great.
on acoustic. Yeah,
nice. Everlong on acoustic. It sounds really cool. I think anyway. And Luke's got some stuff up his sleeve, doing a real low key version, like a piano version of Everything Zen by Bush. You know, that's super cool, right?
So 90s.
So it's kind of well, we're 90s kids, right?
It's
like
beautiful, yes.
So there's a lot of like that kind of cool thing, and then we're kind of bringing that style into our writing. So some of the things we're doing now are a lot of piano stuff. We've got an 8-string guitar and a piano and a violin all in the same song, right?
Nice.
Like it's super weird, and I don't really know where it's going to end up, but that's what I mean by we're kind of just experimenting with different things and different textures and different writing styles. Because his style is like Luke is a reggae guy, right? Like, and I'm not. I am like a metal dude through and through, right? So we kind of
that'd be a great conglomeration, right?
Right.
There.
It ends up being like a very 12-foot ninja like style sound, you know.
Great description,
right? Yeah, but not so like cut in the genre. Like we're trying to layer those genres, and it's challenging. Obviously.
Oh yes.
And we argue a lot about it, right? But it's really cool and really rewarding.
No, that's cool. Yesterday, or was it the day before, I was watching the Rush documentary on Netflix, just because I'm like, I should just watch a documentary. I don't know why. That's just one of those things that came up, and I didn't realize because I'm a Rush fan, but I'm not a Rush fan.
Right.
Okay,
yeah.
So no, Neil Peart. Yeah. Good drummer. Good.
Patio hear you talk like
I know. There's some people that are just be like, what? But then there's some people that completely agree with me. he knows what he's doing. I'll
Yeah.
just say that he's not a slouch. He's
Of
not
course
a
he
slouch,
does.
but he's. Yeah, I don't worship him.
Yeah.
But it was just interesting to see like where they went, and not Neil Peart wasn't even an original member. The original drummer actually he had the diabetes like somebody here, and yeah, they kicked him out because of that, which made me sad. But you know,
Oh.
this is the '70s, and I'm sure there were some other underlying ideas that went behind that. They said he'd come back in a box. He went out on tour. I'm like, I don't know if the well, you never know, but
Can't say that today,
I'd
man.
be
You
willing
can't-
to take the
You
chance.
can't do that now. You get sued.
Probably. But then it was just interesting, like after the first album, how much Neil Peart had to deal with the writing style and the writing how they went to, and then their third album was really experimental, and I've never even heard of that third album before. It was something with Steel. I can't remember what the name was, but it was so I want to say avant-garde and everything else. But it was like 20-minute songs. And I'm sure there's people screaming at their screens right now about you don't know what Rush is and all that.
Right. Yeah.
And you're right. I don't know what Rush is on at least that point. I just know what I hear on the radio and stuff. But it definitely got me interested in looking more into it. But I can just see like where Dream Theater and all that stuff must have just spawned from that.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, you can hear a lot of that. So I'm not a huge Rush guy, but I am a big Dream Theater guy. I love Dream Theater, and obviously I've heard a ton of Rush because of that, right? Like
oh yeah,
you kind of go into
The whole
that genre
prog
and like that's the
metal? Would you call it
exactly
metal?
And I recently checked out. They did a what was that Clockwork album? Was it Clockwork Angel? I think it was something like that.
Test for Echo.
No.
God, I don't remember.
It'd be newer than that.
I'm sure somebody is screaming at me right now
Yep.
through the screen.
Just destroying all this prog stuff.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. So sorry. But then Dream Theater kicked out that album around the same time that was kind of like a steampunk style album.
Okay.
And like the music is really good, but like lyrically it became really pretentious.
Oh,
Because
there we
those albums are always like stories, right? Like all of their songs
Yeah.
are like telling these stories and that kind of thing. And like the lyric content on that is like the whole album is about how like music dies and like is unimportant, and then like there's a kid that like is just really great and like saves music. Like okay, I get it, but maybe back off a little bit on that moral like heavy-handed, because it came out right during when like streaming services were coming around and like people weren't valuing music the way that they used to. Nobody buys albums anymore. And then they put out this record that is where like essentially a metaphor for them saving music, like just tone down a little bit there, Dream Theater. Big fan, but come on, man,
Well, I actually saw them play in, let's say 96, might have been 97, down at the First Ave in Minneapolis.
Oh, dang.
And I remember getting there, and the only people there were Frank Zappa guys and
Right.
Just us music nerds. And I remember Mike Portnoy was playing, so I ran around to get my place so I could focus in. I wanted to see what his snare hand looked like. And of course,
sure.
he's got that huge drum set. So I get behind to where he could see his snare hand, and the disappointment I had, because basically all he was doing was punching the snare drum. Just it was pretty much, I'm not going to say no technique, but it was just straight down. Bam, bam. It wasn't much of it going on there. But I will give it to Portnoy. He was the one putting on the biggest shows. He was spitting water in the air and doing all sorts of things. And,
Yeah, in his cage.
And my son's trying to call me from his fort, but
He's probably trying to yell at you about Rush.
he might be.
Yeah.
Might be. I don't know if he's a real Rush fan. He's a big Mushroom Head fan. That's
Oh,
his
there you
thing.
go.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, that's I never got to see Dream Theater, or I still haven't been able to see Dream Theater live, but that would have been on Metropolis Part 2, right? Like that would have been that album around that time
Yes.
frame.
It was right after Awake, so I can't remember.
Oh,
Falling
okay.
into Infinity.
Yeah.
I think that was
Yep.
that tour. Yep.
Definitely.
Because that was my two things: is Images and Words and Awake. And I remember just listening. I burned out the tape of Images and Words, and Awake. I got the CD, so I couldn't burn it out. But that's where I was going to MSUM at the time, and that's all I listened to every morning.
Yeah.
The entire album.
So I have a little like waterproof Bluetooth speaker in my shower, so I can like Bluetooth music while I'm
nice.
taking a shower. It's great.
I haven't done that
and
yet.
The problem though is my playlist. I was streaming from my media server. like if you don't finish a song, you start over. That when you pull it back up, it starts that same song from scratch.
Okay.
And I was stuck on the same Dream Theater song for like 2 weeks.
Oh,
I was like, because I would just hit play and jump in the shower, and I'm like, oh, I'm still listening to this song, because I was faster than the song went, and I was like, okay, pause. You're getting paused for a while, Dream Theater. Like I've had my fill for the moment.
I haven't listened to Dream Theater in a while. Quite some time.
That's good
Yeah, but
stuff.
on that Rush thing, they had Mike Portnoy on there talking about Neil and all that stuff.
Yeah, of course.
But no, just interesting.
What's Portnoy doing these days?
I don't know, to tell you the truth.
I know. I think he went on tour and did like Nightmare with Avenged Sevenfold. Then people were like, "Is he the new drummer for Avenged Sevenfold?"
Oh, that's the one he got fired from.
and then like Avenged Sevenfold came out with a press release. They were like, Mike Portnoy is not the new drummer of Avenged Sevenfold. Just like definitively, no, he's been a good friend. Just he is not the drummer. That was rude. That was rude. In no uncertain terms.
But you got to wonder the ego that guy must have gotten.
Probably.
Just from playing in Dream
I don't
Theater.
know. Maybe. I've never met the guy, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
I know when I was at North Texas, he did a clinic down in the Dallas area, and a bunch of the guys went down some. And for some reason, I didn't go. And I just remember the one guy coming back and just talking about how like he's figuring out the lowest common denominator for like his playing style. Basically, what numbers he's crunching in his head while he's trying to keep all these odd times in his head. And he's just like, I can barely play 4/4. It was amazing watching him at least crunch all that stuff down. But that's about as close as I got to Mike Portnoy. I was just watching his snare hand just punching the drum and then that little thing. So
Crazy.
No.
Crazy.
It was a decent show. It wasn't. It's not in my top 5, but yeah, I'm definitely
Really?
glad I went.
What's
and saw
in
it.
your top 5?
Top 5? You really want to hear what number 1 is?
I do.
Plant and Page, 1994 at the Target Center.
Of course.
That. Oh my God! I'm trying to remember the drummer's name. I think he plays with the Foo Fighters now.
Oh,
Hawkins.
Taylor Hawkins.
Taylor Hawkins.
Yep.
He did not miss. It was
Dude,
just
he's stellar.
Groove from beat 1.
Well,
we had the seats behind the stage because they were all sold out, and we somehow got in. And we watched him. He broke the head off his number 1 tom, and we watched the stage hands actually take the tom off and then replace it while he was still going. Didn't miss anything.
That's amazing.
And then making a hurdy-gurdy rock. That was it was just a surreal night. It was really, really cool.
Taylor Hawkins is amazing. Like, how good do you have to be as a drummer to be a drummer for Dave Grohl's band?
Just that groove.
Right? Like
Yeah. He's just in there every time. Oh,
Yeah.
We've got a
Totally.
comment question here. I asked if anyone had any questions for Aaron or Wade. Logan K asked, what was the memorable show you played where things bombed hard? What was a memorable show you played where things bombed hard?
You completely biffed it.
Oh yeah. So I have a countless number of these, but nobody plays a perfect show, right?
No.
Like,
No.
so the number 1 show I think was when I was first starting to gig in Fargo years and years and years ago. We played brand new band, first time out. And it was the first band that Brandy and I were in together. And so she was playing bass and I was playing guitar, and Josue was actually singing. And we had Chance McMasters was playing drums. And it was my first band in Fargo, like first gigging band in Fargo. This was, in 2005 or 6 or something, right? And
Millennium ago.
It was forever ago. And we were playing the Windbreak. This was before the Windbreak has their new stage setup, right? So it was back in that corner. Remember that? You like walked down a couple of stairs and there was that back corner there. And so we got on stage, first show in Fargo, first show with this band, and we start Summer of '69. Easy peasy, right? Staple song. Dun, 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 right on that D chord, right?
Yep.
Sway comes in, got my first real 6-string. Everything is going great. Drums and bass come in, and something is way off. Someone is out of tune, or something is just like, I don't know what's going on. And poor Sway is trying to sing to these like wildly out of tune instruments, right? And we forced through that show, man, like professionals. We performed as if nothing was wrong. We were jumping around on stage.
Persevered.
We were like giving
Knights
it a
in
show.
armor.
Yeah, we were totally giving it a show. And then afterwards, like the song ends, and I look over at Brandy and I give her a dirty look, and I mouth the words, "Tune your guitar, like tune your bass." And she's looking at me like, "You tuned your guitar, right?" And so we we turned. I hit my tuner and I hit my low E, and I'm tuned to E flat. The whole guitar. I was a half step down.
Minor seconds all the way down.
All the
That's
way
grind.
down. I was
Grind.
off by a half step. And what I didn't realize is I had used that guitar the night before for my other band that was tuned down. My original project at the time.
Okay.
I was tuned down and I was like, "Oh my God, I am so sorry." And so she's looking at me like daggers right across the stage, like I didn't screw this up. And I was like, "I am so stupid." So I tuned up real quick and the show went great after that. But
Perfect.
But boy, we cleared that bar. Like when we started, we were a half step apart, and it was a nightmare. But it was a good lesson. And then the next song, my wireless pack died, and so my pack died, and I had to pull out a
We
cable.
can laugh about this now, can't we?
Yeah, but at the time, it was literally a nightmare.
Oh,
it was
wow.
literally like, am I just gonna wake up in a cold sweat or what? Like, what's gonna happen here? But we got through the gig, and it went great. Like after that. But man, the amount of like in your head you can get when things like that go
Yes, and that's
wrong,
where
go seriously wrong, and then you're thinking about it in like after you've already fixed it, you're playing the next song and the next song and the next song, and you're going, "Man, I'm so dumb. How did I screw that up?" And so it was kind of a lesson in how do you maintain a performance when
Yes.
things around you are like almost like just on fire, right? How do you do that? And B, how do you shake that off and have a rest of a good show? And so that's kind of where I learned that lesson. And so that show just sticks in my brain pretty much for eternity now, I think.
forget and move on. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I can't imagine
Exactly.
how that sounded a half step. I mean, you were
Oh.
with the band.
Yeah.
It was like this
It was just been a
hybrid harmony.
grind. That would have been a grind.
It was painful, and I can only imagine like how painful that was for like the bar patrons to be listening to this. And poor Sway is probably gonna get like the brunt of that, right? You'd be like,
Oh,
"Man,
of
this
course.
singer is really terrible," you know, and like he's trying to sing either to a bass or a guitar that are a half step apart. So yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah. How
It
would
was
you fit in
brutal.
the middle of that and find
Was
those
it-
scents in between?
You don't.
Wasn't there a song I played too? I can't remember what it was, but there was a song where I was playing like a whole half step off on the bass line. And they told me, they go, "I don't know, Cito, how you were singing through that."
Yeah.
Like you were just kept going because I thought something was wrong and I didn't realize I wasn't looking down, and then I looked down. I'm like, "Oh crap!" Off. You know,
Yeah.
like the whole time I was playing.
Oh man, it's brutal, man. It's brutal. The whole it feels and sounds like the whole like because we were going in ears too. So like I have in ears in,
So it's
and like my head was rattling, you know, and I'm just like trying really hard to get through this, you know.
just keep swimming.
Yeah,
just keep swimming.
exactly.
Yep.
Just keep playing. Just keep playing. For sure, for sure. Looks like we've got another comment
Oh,
there.
we do. What about the time nobody started the solo to Santeria? I love this. I love where we're going with this.
Santeria.
He's trying to call himself out. So Logan is the guitar player in Shake Hands with Danger.
Nice.
He's baiting me into telling these stories.
How you
here.
doing, Logan?
So our first show with Shake Hands. So technically, our first show we played this summer was an outdoor show at River Haven, which used to be Monk's Pub in Moorhead there. And now it's like a wedding hall basically. But they've been doing these kind of patio things.
Okay.
And so we had discussed like who's going to play this solo for Santeria, and I play most of the leads in that band, but Logan plays I think 2 or 3 of them, right? And so one of them is Santeria, but at the time he hadn't played it yet. So we talked about it at practice, but we weren't like, okay, let's do it kind of thing.
Yep.
I was under the impression that he was going to do it. He was under the impression that I was going to do it. And so we were on stage, we hit that solo, and it was funny because you have stage communication, right?
Oh,
you have
yes.
like the nods, and everybody kind of knows what you mean. We haven't been on stage long enough yet to like really establish that language yet. And so we're going for the solo, and I'm giving him this nod. I'm giving him the chin nod, right? It's the go ahead, right?
Go.
Yeah, it's the chin,
But he's
right?
like, you got it.
to which he responds, or he thinks I'm giving him the I got this kind of like look, right?
This one's mine.
And so we hit the solo, and we're both playing the rhythm. And I just kind of look at him, and I just do this. I just like look straight at him. I just go, and I just jumped in. I jumped into the solo, and then we finished it out. And I thought he was just gonna die, but it's no big deal. Like,
most of the crowd
that
didn't even caught that.
That didn't even register as a stage story yet, because it's like that kind of thing happens no matter what, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It does.
It happens all the time, every
lot.
time. There's never a perfect show. Something like that is going to happen where there's a miscommunication. Somebody's going to start the wrong song, or somebody's going to.
That never happens.
Yeah, right.
One time I sang Peter's song. We were playing a show, and we played, and I don't know what I did, but I just went up to the mic and went, "Some people call me," and I'm like, I looked over at Peter, and he looked at me like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, my bad."
Yeah.
I just started singing his song.
We were playing a show at the old when the hub still had like that sports bar, when it had like Playmakers sports bar, but it was that weird like transitional period where they had that big stage in there.
Oh, the barn, yep.
Yeah, and so we were playing there one time, and we were playing OMC's How Bizarre, right? And so I start the song, and I'm wondering why nobody else is coming in. Like, I've gone through like 4 repeats of this, and Josue just kind of like looks over at me and goes, "Really? You're gonna do this to me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, start the song." And so he goes, "All right, fine. La 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 bamba," and he comes into it. And he sings the whole verse in Spanish. And I'm laughing because
awesome.
I then realized that if you swap 2 chords of OMC's How Bizarre, you get La Bamba. And I was playing the chords in the wrong order. And everybody else
I like
seemed
how
to
he
know.
looks at the band too, like me, and I go, "Really?"
Yeah, that's
Let me
exactly
do this.
it. He's like, are you punking me right now? And I'm like, just start the song. What are you doing? And so like that's how it goes down sometimes. I didn't even realize I was playing it incorrectly, right?
I always wondered that's how you guys can keep all those chord progressions in the
You
same
don't.
spot, especially
You
when you're
don't.
playing like the same 5 chords over and over again.
There are only 12 notes.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like it's the order of 12 notes. You got to pick 4 of them and then repeat them, and so that's just how kind of music works. But yeah, you don't is the answer. You don't remember them. You remember which chord they start on, and then you hope the other 3 fall in line.
That muscle memory
Yeah,
comes back.
exactly.
Please be there.
Exactly.
We've got some new pictures of you too, don't we?
Yeah. So
Yes,
we've got a
pictures
ton
that-
of new pictures.
Right there.
Yeah. So each of these
Oh,
has a story.
Pretty schwank. See, that's the haircut that Cito wants to give me.
Right? Yeah. So this is a picture. This is actually at Chaos and Question practice. We were practicing and we were discussing like some song structure or whatnot, and my cat jumped up into my lap, and then Tom Lundy, he's like, "Oh, I got to get a picture of this," and snapped this photo and photoshopped it up, and now that's like the picture I like to show people when they're like, "What do you do when you're writing songs?" I'm
I
like,
just
"This
like
is
that
what
microphone
this is
right
what that looks
there.
right." Yeah, exactly. That's our room mic, because we go direct in at practice, and
Oh,
so we
nice.
have just
Gotcha.
a mic in the room, and so he like zoomed in and cropped in this like awesome senior picture style.
But
Right, with
it
the
tells
cat.
a story. That's
It
the
does.
whole
It
thing.
does. The cat
tells
is
a
like,
huge
"It's my
story.
turn." Yeah.
Yep.
Nice picture. Nice picture.
Yeah. So last time I talked about my that guitar, right?
the gear,
that guitar with the knobs.
That's what it was.
And
I was
so
like,
that's-
what was that part again?
That's the knob. That's the knob on my guitar. It's cast. Those are watch gears on the inside. He kind of assembled them into like a little machine.
They cast that in resin or what?
Yep, exactly. Cast it in
Wow.
resin, and it's yeah.
So are watch gears normally that gold, or is that
They're brass, yeah. And so he
Brass.
shined them all
Yeah,
up to
but
make sure they're like.
Can they do other things? Like, can they put like a D20 in there? Or
Yeah,
something?
you could do anything you wanted. Yeah, that was something that was he. So Alistair called me and he goes, "What do you want for a knob?" on this guitar? And I'm like, no one's ever asked me that question before. I don't know. It could be anything. It could be like a little red spigot. It could be a lever. It doesn't even have to be a knob, right? Like, you ever thought about that? Like, it could be literally anything. And so I was like, well, what do you think about casting
potentiometer
a knob and then putting, like, I told him a gear inside.
A gear.
Yeah, and so this is what he came back with.
You just want one gear.
Yeah.
I'll show you one gear.
It's super cool. I dig it a lot.
That is cool. He does that, just makes knobs for people? Or just
No, he made the whole guitar. So he made the whole guitar out of carbon fiber, and then he's a materials specialist. He used to make boat parts originally, was like for speedboats, and so he got into making carbon fiber guitars and built me a custom electric, and that's what we came up with for a knob on that.
Sweet.
It's super cool. So this is so remember when the Vikings were between stadiums? Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So I'm not a sports guy, but we ended up getting tickets to see the Vikings. Brandy is, kind of a sports girl. So she was like, we got to go to this Vikings game, and it's outdoors. And because it's, in it was the Minnesota State. Yeah.
Golfers.
Yep, exactly. And so I was like, well, I'm not going to be cold. So I got gloves, a scarf. Those are Carhartts. I got a face mask and a beanie and everything. And if you look at the guy in the back left, it wasn't that cold. That guy's not even wearing a coat.
I can't put my arms down.
Yeah, exactly. So
there.
that was my first professional football game there. I was like, well, I'm not going to be cold. And I wasn't. The whole time I was like, you cold? I ain't cold.
Well, you wouldn't be in those.
Yeah.
No. That's awesome. Well, my only story about that stadium is we went there and watched drum corps in is DCI, Minnesota. So they had a whole bunch of the top 10 drum corps are down there, which is just, basically professional marching bands. And during this time, 3 tornadoes came through there.
Oh.
And we all had to stand in the bathrooms waiting for this to go by. And that was my daughter was like 4 years old or 5 years old. So still to this day, she's definitely afraid when those sirens go off just because of that. Just being in that stadium. So I don't like that stadium.
Oh, man. That's not good. So this is a cool story.
Is that a Steve Vai guitar?
That is Steve Vai's guitar.
Steve Vai's guitar. Oh, I was right then.
That is not a Steve Vai guitar. That is Steve Vai's guitar. So I went to NAMM a few years ago. It was 2016 NAMM. Okay. And I went with Alistair of Emerald Guitars. And so I'm walking around NAMM, and he texts me. He goes, you got to come to this hotel room in the Marriott. Just come in. Just go. You got to be here. I'm like, okay, cool. So I go to this hotel room, and I'm like, I have no idea what to expect, right? Knock on the door, and guy lets me in.
Sketchy idea.
Right, exactly.
Come to this hotel room.
Just go to this hotel room in Anaheim, right?
I can tell you what's in there.
So I show up, and somebody I do not recognize opens the door, and I'm just like, okay. And Alistair's not there, and I'm like, they're looking at me like, can I help you? And I said, I'm here with Alistair. And they go, oh, yeah, come in. I'm like, okay. And so I'm looking around. I know literally nobody in this room, okay? And there's an old dude in the room, a couple of old guys, and there's a rack of Steve Vai's guitars, or looks like Steve Vai's guitars, and Thomas Nordegg, Steve Vai's guitar tech, is standing there in the room next to these guitars, right?
Awesome.
And yeah, exactly. And a couple of other guys who look exactly as confused as me are standing around, and we're all just kind of looking at each other like, what do we do?
Why are we here?
Yeah. So after what feels like an eternity, was probably 5 minutes, Alistair shows up. And he was like, oh, so cool you're here. I want to introduce you. This is my good friend Thomas. Thomas Nordegg, And then he starts going around and introducing, and it's like, this guy, so the room was actually owned by Antares. And the guy, the old guy in the room, was the guy who invented autotune.
Oh.
And so
I don't know how to feel about that.
He's like the guy he invented the Post-its.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah. And so he invented autotune, and he's just sitting there, and they have a new product that they're trying to kind of demo and kind of getting a feeler around at the time. which was called Auto Tune for Guitar. And so I was like, I can tune my guitar, right? Like, but it was a really cool technology.
Oh, was that the one that actually like it'll move the knobs? For
No,
it?
that's the robot guitar. That's the Tronical
Yeah,
robot guitar.
I was
What
talking about
he
this.
was
And someone
doing
said that didn't exist.
was something really quite amazing. Is he had like this kind of technology that would read the tone or the pitch that you were trying to play,
Okay.
and it would actually auto tune that pitch and put that through. And it didn't sound auto-tuned. It just sounded like your guitar was in tune. But it would do that for every string. So like chords, no matter where you were at on the guitar, would be perfectly in tune every time.
Wow. Oh,
And it was
intonation.
fast. A lot of those things are like are like have latency. I'm really sensitive to that type of latency where you hit the string and then you hear it a second later. I hate that, right? But he was like, no, because this technology, because I commented, I was like, this is really fast. He goes, this is actually plays the note or it knows what note you want to play before you do. And I was like, haha, cheeky, right? And he goes, no, I can detect the note in one cycle of the frequency. So guitar players don't normally fret and hit a string at the exact same time. It's usually one or the other.
Yes.
They usually fret before they hit. So when you fret, that string is vibrating just from the pressure of fretting, right? And it already knew what note you were trying to play.
Interesting. How come this isn't out then, or is
So
it?
it was a victim of really bad marketing. So it came out, it was out there, but what they did is they partnered with PV Guitars and put that technology into a $200 PV guitar. And you can actually, if you can find them, it's the PV AT300, Auto Tune 300.
AT300.
And they don't make them anymore. And Terry's, when he retired, it was kind of a pet project, right? You kind of get the feeling that like Antares kind of just let him do this thing. And so when he retired, Antares discontinued the whole shebang. So you can't even get support and you can't even download the old firmware or anything for it.
Really?
Yeah. But anyway, that guitar has that auto tune in it. So Thomas Nordegg was like there with Steve Vai's guitar rack, like just letting us play Steve Vai's actual stage guitars.
That is awesome.
And he's the coolest
Oh my
dude
God.
ever. So yeah, he was answering all of our crazy questions, and like it was funny because we're all standing there like, you know, and we're standing around for like 10 minutes and nobody's really saying anything. And this dude named Steve comes over and he goes, "Guys, it's okay to freak out right now." And all three of us were just like, like, can we touch the guitars? And he's like, yeah, of course, you know. And so like
Of
the
course.
tension really came off.
Can we touch
And so one of my really good friends actually I met in that hotel room, you know, at that moment, who's this amazing, Nate Lopez is his name. He's this amazing guitar player out in LA who plays an 8-string acoustic guitar that Alistair made. So Alistair basically brought in his guys that were at NAMM and like to this hotel room to kind of show this off to, or be the demo players for Auto Tune for Guitar for Antares. And it was a really freaking cool experience. I couldn't even believe it. Sitting there with Steve Vai's Thomas guitar, you know,
That is
playing it. The whole back end of that guitar is like basically carved out with different technologies. He's got like a wireless pack in there, and he's got like all of that on board. It's crazy. So yeah, that's where that is. And this next picture I think is yeah, that's Thomas Nordegg right there.
okay.
Yeah, we it was funny because we they ordered pizza and like had booze and stuff there, and somebody goes or Nate picks up the a drink and he goes, "Oh, got any ice?" And Thomas, without like missing a beat, grabs the ice bucket and he goes, "Sure, be right back," and he leaves. And we're all standing there, and Steve looks at us and goes, "Thomas Nordegg is getting us ice. What is happening right now?" Like, Thomas Nordegg, Steve Vai's guitar tech is getting us ice. Like it was so surreal. That was just this crazy
does
day.
he play too then? Does he really?
Oh, he
Thomas
must.
does not play.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
well, yeah, kind of, but
He
like
just
not.
understands guitar.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Yeah, when
so-
I was pulling these pictures up, I'm like, am I supposed to know this guy?
Yes.
I guess I'm supposed to.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. He's
One of my
that dude is super cool. Awesome dude.
favorite musicians of all time,
Yeah.
Mr.
Boy.
Vai. Now, there's got to be a big story. No pun intended.
This is a huge story.
a huge.
So, all right. So all my life, I've watched like episodes of TV shows.
Scooby-Doo.
And they have like
First
they
thing
always
goes in my
have
head.
parties, right? They always have like birthday parties and stuff where they have the big sandwich,
Yes.
right? It's always the big sandwich. You ever been to a party with a big sandwich, Wade?
Not really.
Me neither. So it was my life goal to have to attend a party with a giant, like the big sandwich, you know. And I think about that Wings episode where they're making a big deal out of the big sandwich, right? And I'm like, man, I want to have a big sandwich at a party someday. I'm gonna walk into one of these and there's gonna be like a big sandwich. And my friend Whitney goes, "Why don't you just do it then?" And I'm like,
That's cheating.
That's brilliant.
Where'd you get the bread?
Exactly. Where'd I get the bread? Where did I get the bread? That's a great question. So I started calling around to bakeries because I'm like, where do I get the bread? So I started calling around, and Quality Bakery, who's not around anymore, I called them and had a great conversation with them. I called up and I said, "How big of a loaf of bread can you bake?" And she goes, "What do you need?" And I said,
"Where are you going with this?"
She goes, "I have had a childhood dream of creating a giant 6-foot sandwich, but it has to be one loaf of bread. It can't be 6 individual 1-foot sandwiches. I want one 6-foot sandwich."
No cheating. Yep.
"So how big can you make one loaf of bread?" And she goes, "Well, I don't know if we can make a childhood dream big, but we could see what we could do." And she goes, I said, she goes, the thing is, it's going to come down to the pan. Like, if you've got the pan, I'll bake the bread. I'm like, "You have an oven that you can put a 6-foot?" She goes, "We have 8-foot ovens." So, all right, let's do this.
Okay.
So I was like, "If I get a pan,
How do you
you'll do
figure
it."
this one
And she
out?
goes, "Yeah." So I was like, "Okay, I'm going to call another bakery just to see if they've got the same thing." And she was like, "Okay." So I call up Harvest, right?
Yep.
Harvest Bakery in town. And I was like, "I have a dream." And so same conversation. And halfway through the conversation, Quality Bakery calls me back. And they go, "We have a 6-foot pan." And I'm like, "I need that bread. Let's get it. Let's get that bread, yo." And so they're like, "All right, no problem. When do you need it by?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know. I'm thinking like, this weekend is like Monday or Tuesday, right?" I'm thinking like this weekend. She goes, "Oh, yeah. No problem. We only need 24 hours in advance." I'm like, "This is amazing. It's happening. It's happening." So Quality Bakery, where I got that bread. Now, there's some unique considerations for a piece of bread this size. Like,
Travel?
how do you travel with it? Exactly.
Strap it to the hood of the
So
car.
if you can kind of see in that picture, they strapped it to a 2x4.
What?
Like under that wrap is a 2x4 that's like 6.5 feet long.
Oh my god!
So that the bread wouldn't break, which is fantastic. So then we had to do a bunch of sandwich math on like, well, how much ham do you put on a 6-foot ham sandwich, right? Or like cheese, like all of that kind of thing. So I've got a buddy who's an engineer, and we figured out exactly how to like math out how much cheese and meats and lettuce and tomato we needed for this. Then we set up kind of a sidebar on a different kitchen table with like all the condiments and things like that, so that you didn't have to be like, "Well, I wanted mine with no mayo," right? So we mathed it out, and we had 1 tomato left over. Exactly. Like,
God.
go to school, kids, and
Yeah,
become an
no
engineer,
kidding.
and you can do all the sandwich math to not have any waste in your 6-foot sandwich. So we were cackling the entire time. We're like doing the math. We're standing in the deli ordering, and we're just like, like we're just like giggling like children over this idea that we're making this 6-foot sandwich. So we invite like 30 people over to eat because we're like, I don't know how many this is even going to like feed, right? Like you think about Subway, you eat like a foot long,
Yep.
but like a foot long is not also like that wide,
No.
like. So we cut it kind of like in strips, if you will, like kind of chunk kind of thing. But we ended up having like 3 feet of sandwich left over after feeding 30 people.
Oh, wow.
It was a sandwich miracle, like the loaves and the fishes. And so from that, we kind of tongue in cheek, but now very seriously founded a church called the Church of Sandwich. Hail Sandwich, out to my sandwich homies out there, where we now can define what is and is not a sandwich. So that argument of like a hot dog being a sandwich has now been settled, as far as I'm concerned, and many other sandwichy questions have all been answered due to the triumvirate coming together and creating this miracle of sandwich.
Is there a secret handshake that goes along with this?
No, but it's the hail sandwich,
there you
closing
go.
of the bread. Yeah, so if you'd like to become,
So that's how you identify each other.
correct.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Awesome. Right
Exactly.
away, I was like, how do you get bread that big?
Yeah, exactly. And so
I'm
it
gonna
was
make a
a
sandwich
great
like
time,
that.
and we laughed and everybody that came in the door was like, "Look at that sandwich!"
I
you know,
know,
like
look at it.
it's just it's a thing of
It's
beauty, man.
picturesque too. If you
Yeah,
look at it, like colors all work on it. It's just
I like how you use
it's-
math and engineering.
wow.
It's beautiful. We did some serious sandwich math went into that 6-foot sandwich. I win when we become an official nonprofit Church of Sandwich. That's what I'm going for now, to become an authority on sandwich.
Preach it. Now,
Yeah,
who's
so
this guy?
So this is a security guard in Guatemala City. So I used to go to Guatemala City a lot for work.
Okay.
And so we had a call center down there, and I would go down there to train their people and do processes and things like that, which is what I do for a living. And so my friends didn't believe me that Guatemala City is like super dangerous. And every store, no matter where you're at, has a security guard with a sawed-off shotgun, like at the ready. Nobody believed me. So this is the bagel shop we ate lunch at that was
bagel
like
shop.
literally a block from our call center. I went down and I was like, nobody believes me. So I said, do you mind if I get a picture? And he goes, oh, yeah. And he kind of poses there. And so I snapped that photo. That's Guatemala City right there,
Wow.
man. Like every gas station, every place you go has a guy like that with a gun like that just standing around waiting for somebody to do something stupid.
Wow.
Yeah.
You ever heard anything going stupid while you're there, or?
Well, heard a lot of it. Yeah.
Heard?
Heard a lot of it. One of my agents was late back from lunch because he got robbed on his lunch, you know. So it's super duper dangerous, but you know, you can see how tall that guy is. He's like 4 foot tall.
Yeah,
right?
that's all I was gonna say. He's kind of short.
And I'm 6'4". And so people like literally I would walk down the street and they would look at me and cross the street to get away, like out of my way. So
White demon.
yeah, exactly. Like nobody was coming at me, man. It's funny because like I think maybe the Spaniards maybe have embellished like the size and ferocity of the Aztec people when they were coming like in history, right?
Yep, I
Like
gotcha.
they're not that tall. I was a freaking monster over there. But like I loved going over there and talking to those people. Like they're fantastic. Everybody over there was so nice and friendly, and
Except for the shotguns.
yeah. Well, it was safer with the shotguns,
true.
right? So
It's just like
it
being in
was-
Texas.
it
Second
was really
Amendment.
cool. But like I always encourage people. I travel a lot for work, and so I always encourage people like if you want to question your prejudices and views of life, go travel to a different country where like you're the minority. And I've been afforded several opportunities to do that in different countries, and I tell you, it's super humbling.
Wow.
It's
We're gonna have
super,
to bring
like-
you back just for those stories.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna do that.
Let's
this has
bring
been a
the
lot of fun.
sandwich back one more time.
Yeah,
Sandwich.
sandwich.
Church of
So hungry
Sandwich.
now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know the hand thing now. so.
Yeah, hail sandwich.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
very cool. Very cool.
But cool, we better get on with the weekly report here. We got Cito sitting on the
Oh,
sideline.
we're
So
having
Cito,
so much fun here doing this. So. All right, Wade, how's it going here? I forgot how to put it up again.
it automatically goes into
Oh,
it.
it did. I did
Oh,
it again.
now you got to do it again.
Yeah,
That's
all
all right.
All right, here we go.
You get to listen to me singing falsetto.
Is that you?
That's me.
That's you?
Me at the piano, yep.
Yeah, Wade made me this little weekend report, and I just love it so much.
Thank you.
All right, there we go. Okay, the Uptown Report. I'm Cito here, and we're having such a good time here. And that sandwich is unbelievable.
Oh, it is.
So, Uptown, the windbreak we got this week. We got on Thursday night. We got Rhyme or Reason. That's happening. Friday, Jacked Up will be out there. And then Saturday, our good friend Jim over there is going to be in the Jackson 3.
Jimbo.
Yeah, but a lot of people ask, they always kind of go there. They're kind of the original, Dead Walleye group, minus the lead singer, I think. So make sure you guys go check out there. They got great guitar tone, just great beats, great songs. You want to hear Foo Fighters, you want to hear 90s, go out and see the Jackson 3. Shooting Star on Friday, Saturday has Lady Luck. That's going on out there. And then the Sanctuary Event Center on tonight. Is Pop Evil with Broken Love. I'm going to go with Broken Love.
That's what I'm going to say it is.
Yeah. Barkin' Love.
Barkin'
Love. All right, and that's happening tonight. And then at the TAC we have Peekaboo. I'm thinking that's sort of like
I think it's a
burlesque
DJ
show or something. Okay.
Look like a DJ. Yeah, I could see burlesque too. Just
Burlesque
such a
show.
weird
That's
name.
always Peekaboo, but we'll go with DJ there. Go to the Peekaboo DJ. He pops up once in a while on the table.
Here's my laptop.
Oh, man. Peekaboo, whoever you are, if you're listening, this is all in good fun, right?
Yes, it is.
Downtown
no
Acoustic Corner, we got the Granite City. Sean Meetzel's out there Thursday, and then Matthew Donner on Friday. The Red Hawks game, Rick Adams will be out there on Thursday. And then the Cork and Cleaver, we got Jim White on Thursday. The Front Street Tap Room, we got Tonewood. That's
I should know who this is.
That's I know what this is. It's a collaboration of the name. Okay, anyway, we'll move on. Spicy Pie, West Fargo, Aaron Simmons is out there. And then the 701 on the Roof, we got Campfire Sing Along and Prairie Kitchen. The Prairie Kitchen's like the kitchen they have there, right? Like where they cook
that's
it
like
food.
on Thursday, and then the campfire sing-alongs on Wednesday. That's what I'm gathering out.
So it's two different places. So it's the 701 building, and then Prairie Kitchen is the restaurant downtown. Campfire Sing-Along is like the bar and patio upstairs.
On the roof.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So that's
I
beyond the
got
roof.
you. And they got the best double bacon cheeseburgers you're going to have in town. So if you want a really good hamburger and burger, go out there. And I've gone twice now to go get it. I'm craving it. So Dan Christensen will be on Wednesday. That's happening tonight. And then Jack Winders on Thursday. The Silver Dollar Flying Pig Grill has Lori Elaine out there on Friday night. And the Edgewood Tavern way up north. Thursday night's going to have Mike Morris Acoustic Show. The Farmers Market, Jim White's out there Saturday. And then at Rookies in West Fargo, we got Matthew Donner again on Friday night. So the downtown area, we got the lights at the Central Health Plaza. The Black Hawk is out there on Friday, so make sure you go check out your Goodbye Says It All. And Kip Moore is on Saturday night. The Fargo VFW, we have Craig Schulte Friday and Saturday. And then the Pit 611 in Ottoman, we got Bruce and Tiki D. And that's happening Sunday. Island Park, the Big House Band. I was gonna say the other. I thought I was gonna say that was the F word when I read that at first, and I'm like, what is this big house in the?
Nope, that's the church band I actually play in during the winter time.
Oh gosh!
So they have their thing out there. So
that's happening tonight at Island Park. So and then the back street, we got the Johnson 5 band.
Side Street
and Johnson 5 band Thursday. That's the 19th. So.
Yep, tomorrow.
And then we got the downtown at Dempsey's. We got the Special Blend Band on Friday, and then the Blue Whalers on Saturday night. So that's going to be a good weekend. Aquarium is having the Dakota Lighthouse in Spades, Anomic. That's happening Friday in Spades and Anomic. And then Fly or Die is on Saturday. The Cellar, that's the comedy club. Open mic nights happening tonight. And then Tailgaters is having Boogie Nights Thursday night out there. So make sure you go get your boogie on. Out of town at the O in Minot, we have Black Hawk. So they're making a little tour on Thursday night. They'll be out there. And then Average Joe's in Partial, North Dakota is going to have Come Out Alive, Opposition Out, Rex BS, and Mika. And then that's happening Saturday. And then the Laughing Sun Brewery in Bismarck, Mandan, we have Kyle Kobe Thursday, Sugar break on Friday. And then Jessica Vines is out there on Saturday.
Whole lot of stuff going on.
And then we just played the Roadhouse last week. That was great. And then this Saturday, October Road's going to be out there. So make sure you get out there. And then, of course, we're playing our Park Rapids Zorba's show on Friday night. And then we'll have what are we playing? We're playing a street dance on Saturday somewhere in North Dakota. So
yes.
Busy. And all you guys be safe out there, drive, and look out for deer and crazy people. So, all right, that's it for me. Thank you so much. I'll give it back to you, Wade.
Love it. All right. Well, we're kind of pushing on time here. So do we want to see a little juvenile destruction? This one isn't actually, I kind of really like this one for our Off the Roof. So here we go.
Let's do it.
Off the Roof. Go.
Wade's the best at it.
Go.
Oh, nice. That is good. Look at that.
What a mess.
This is all because of Keith Johnson. He suggested this on the way out.
Juvenile destruction.
Yep.
I love it.
Check this out. I can't believe it exploded like that. I was just it completely disintegrated.
Beautiful.
Love it. So there's some juvenile destruction for you. So anyone out there, we need to do like a big push on at least what we're going to be doing for Off the Roof before the snow flies. You have anything you want to have destroyed on camera, we'll definitely do that for you. So
throw it on Wade's yard.
yeah,
and
exactly.
he'll pick it up.
Doesn't hurt my feelings any. We'll tell you that.
Here you go, Wade.
Yeah, just
So
drive by, chuck it off the back of a truck.
Yep. So there again, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Uptown Tonight Podcast. You can also find us on our UptownBandFargo.com website, and also on the Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Uptown Band Fargo. So you can definitely find us there. And if you got anyone you want to suggest, or you want to just suggest your own band to be on the weekly report and all that other fun stuff, go ahead and do that. But make sure that you do subscribe. That really help us out. Subscribe, like, comment, and comment some more. Even if it's naughty comments, it's kind of fun to read.
Can I make a suggestion?
No. Yes.
I want to suggest that I come back here and talk again.
Yes, Aaron, we're definitely going to have you back on here, especially this whole new realm that I didn't even know that you're like a world traveler too. So this is
We'll always have Aaron come back.
this
so
is
fun.
it's been a lot of fun tonight. So a whole lot of fun. You got anything left for the good of the order there, Aaron?
The what?
The good of the order?
The good of the order.
The good of the order. Yes.
I don't know. I don't even know what that means.
Okay. It can mean whatever you want to mean.
Oh,
but,
all right.
How
Well,
do we keep everything organized?
Yeah. So Shake Hands with Danger is playing
In a couple of weeks.
Yeah, in a couple of weeks. So we're playing Dempsey's on the 3rd. I think we've already mentioned this, but
That's
and then we're
fine.
playing the
Plug
VFW VFW in October, first weekend of October, I believe.
Cool.
So,
and where
so
can we find you at?
you can check us out on Facebook right now. Shake Hands with Danger. Not
Not
a lot
shakes.
of content. Yeah, not
Shake.
shakes. Not a lot of
plural.
content up there yet, but we're just kind of coming out of the gate here. So expect a lot more content, band photos, like all of that kind of thing. And I hope you come out and see a show.
Awesome. I'll make sure all that stuff's in the description below. All right. So, your band's in trouble when your drummer has more charisma than your front man. But that's why my band's doing just fine. All right. Until next time.